Marfoogle TV going live in 3, 2, 1. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and I'm live from under the Golden Dome, or I guess I will be. Let's, of course, go over right into it. We've got Putin isn't ready to end war in Ukraine. Trump told allies in private. So, again, we don't know what is true on this. Again, this is Zero Hedge, which a lot more of our community actually trusts compared to a lot of their competitors, to say the least. But at the same time, this actually would go more of what everybody's gut is saying. Now, Trump in himself, there's a lot of people here that love Trump, and there's a lot of people that absolutely hate him. But for those that even love him, they also realize he is a salesman. He wrote the book, The Art of the Deal, and in that you will actually see a lot of his personality traits that come out, and it's a permanent thing. When you've trained yourself habits and you have made them habits for everything, he is like the perfect example of that. I just listened to a podcast of this monk on Diary of a CEO, and this monk was essentially talking about new habits and old habits. Break yourself with old habits, and to do new habits, you have to basically do them every day. Well, I think that the president is literally one of the perfect examples of that. And again, with something like this, it's like the way he talks, the way he calls things big and beautiful, and the way that he compliments almost anybody and everybody and even inanimate objects. Anything he's talking about, if it's something that he's attached to, it's golden. If if he's talking about a bill, it's beautiful. If he's talking about a gentleman, or he's a genius and a smart guy, an attractive guy. If he's talking about a woman, a beautiful, smart, and sensational person, you see it in everything. But again, when you are the president, everybody is taking everything you say and saying, okay, this is being put through the literal chopping block. And honestly, he's saying that, everything is going to be good. It's peace by the end of the week. I don't take him at face value when he's saying these kind of things, because I realize he's being the positive, everything, the glass is half full kind of guy that he is. Again, if you ever get a chance, even if you hate the guy, read Art of the Deal, you'll understand a lot more about, the way he thinks, right? So as far as this goes, it said that Putin is not ready for peace in Ukraine because he believes he is winning the war. Well, I hate to say this, and again, some will say I'm carrying Putin's water. I agree. The only reason that Ukraine is even still there is because they've snatched pizza boys and delivery guys off of their frickin' bikes. Other than that, it's because they have had funding. If they didn't have funding, that war would have been over. Putin, again, we covered this as it was happening, basically sent in for the first 6 to 8 months almost all of his garbage. He literally sent in people that he pulled right out of prison into the war, onto the front lines with 100-year-old rifles and 50-year-old tanks. He didn't even put one of his jets over the border into Ukraine for like a year. It was very insane. Basically, he was trying to take all of the scraps, anything that like fell through and fell, by the garbage can, and they're like, throw that at him. And whatever damage it does, it's a positive without ever touching their actual military. So I do believe they're winning. And I don't think, unless they're in a spot where they believe that, the U.S. or something that's going to play out where they're all of a sudden not going to have all these sanctions and all of a sudden everything's going to go back to normal, I don't think that's going to happen. And all of a sudden NATO is just going to take down all of the fences, all of the dragon's teeth, everything down, and stop pushing for this war. I don't think that either. And again, with this, you have something that's very concrete. As far as this goes, you have all of our adversaries have now teamed up. And I think that they do feel like they are in the driver's seat. I think a lot of people are sleep better at night knowing that President Trump has this kind of like attitude like, hey, we'll take you off the face of the planet. And most leaders of the world, including our adversaries, they believe him. So again, but how far will that get us? How far can that get us? And will it ever backfire? We don't know. Clayton, thank you for the super. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. And again, I appreciate everybody showing up to a slightly earlier show. All this week, we've been trying super, super hard. Again, I've been trying to line up all of my family stuff so I can get on earlier for you guys. I know you East Coasters don't want to be seeing our show at bedtime. All right. So yeah, just absolutely crazy. We're going to talk about this and much, much more. Stay right there. You don't want to leave. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. Thank you, all of you that have made it here early. Again, thank you, Nanny Anderson. I think you were first off the bat. Thank you for the support. Says, hey, y'all. Hey, it's nice to see you. And again, everybody that made it into chat, including Josh Williams. Says, hi, everyone. Quintress, Annie Oakley, 777, Off-Grid Wood. We've got Julie Pilkerton, Whatever Prepper. Thank you for being here. Again, all of our preppers in the house, I hope that you are freely giving advice right now. I think that everybody should be taking it. I don't think that this is the end of the world, but I do believe that this is the start of World War III, and that we are literally going to be in a spot where everybody is going to have to learn how to not use Google. But again, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Howdy, Marf, Smoking Swamp Outdoors. Thank you, Chad Albright, and hello from Canton, OH. Hey, Quintress, Jerry Hayes, and so many more. All right, let's bring in Dex, my co-host / internet brother. Dex James, what is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So yeah, we've got a lot to cover. We're gonna get through this really fast. We're trying to get these shows done quickly and concisely. All right. And then Lebanese and Palestinian leaders agree that Lebanon won't be used as a launch pad to strike Israel. Dex, you want to go over that right now?
Well, yeah. So the two leaders of the presidents agreed Wednesday that their factions won't use Lebanon as a launch pad for any attacks against Israel, and they're going to remove weapons that aren't under the authority of the Lebanese state. Now, this sounds pretty grandiose, and you would think, wow, that's pretty good. So the announcement was made during a meeting between them, and they arrived earlier in the day, beginning a 3-day visit to Lebanon, and they're basically rah-rah-rahing that they're not going to be a part of any type of engagement on that. But it certainly begs the question, you know, it's one thing for the leadership of officials like that to say that at a presidential level. It's totally different when it comes down to the organizations that operate outside of that leadership, like Hezbollah, which is, you know, ran or funded by Iran. So it just makes you wonder, you know, they can make those platitudes, but does it really matter? But if it's true, and maybe they're willing to crack down, they said they're going to at least go to some of the Palestinian camps that they have, that they actually have control over, and make sure that there's no weapons there. Although they didn't say how they were going to do that. But that could be a decent sign. But I still have a lot of suspicion that it really holds a lot of water when it comes to the people that actually are the ones using the weapons.
Yeah, and I mean, there's all sorts of backdoor deals going on right now. There's a lot of money going into private pockets. Here's the thing: why we watch the news, and it'll be Wednesday, everything will be just absolutely crazy. On Thursday, all of a sudden, somebody got a check that cleared, and then all of a sudden, you have somebody just flip on a dime. You have a whole country go, oh yeah, well, we've decided to do this. It's usually because someone privately is being paid. That's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. And then Iran says it may take special measures to defend nuclear sites from Israel. So not only in the last piece, they're talking like, hey, we don't want to be the place where they launch from. Says a whole lot. They're saying that pretty much everyone is expecting Israel to launch. In general, what has been talked about for the last few days, and even intelligence from our government, says that Israel is planning a strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. If they do that, they are going for the heart of what will make them essentially a superpower. Iran wants to be in the same spot where North Korea is. It's crazy. I mean, do we actually consider North Korea a superpower? I mean, they're a nuclear power, right? But I mean, once you have nukes, are you considered, for a superpower, you have to have economic backing too, right? But essentially, North Korea is a nuclear country, whereas Iran doesn't have that. Would that be a good way to put it?
Yeah, I would agree. You've got superpower. You've got to have power influence across the globe, economic and nuclear.
And which, by the way, they're talking about China now getting, because they are spreading out with the Belt and Road, and they're taking playbooks. They're taking plays right out of our playbook. They are copying us in every way, not only our IP, stealing our designs and our blueprints, but they are also copying history. In the space I was in earlier today, there was arguments between people. It got really heated because it was people that supported one side of the strip and the other. And it was straight up, it was pretty feisty. They were yelling, just calling names at one point. And the three hosts were doing a really good job of trying to keep it focused and basically muting when they needed to, when it was just going to ad hominem attacks, right? But in this space, it was like this one woman said, I don't give a damn about history. And she had a Southern accent. She go, I don't give a damn about history, because people were saying history is really important to know for what's going to happen in the future. And she was essentially saying, no, I don't give a damn about history. Almost everybody in that room is like, what are you talking about? History shows us. So again, when you look at history, you can see patterns, and you can see patterns before major events. We now can see those same major events and those same patterns happening right now. It's not rocket science. I do not believe I have a crystal ball. I'm not saying that I got secret information that was handed down to me from some, celebrity level spook or something. No, it's actually, it's not a science. It's going with your gut and following news every single day, and not just going, I believe this, I believe that. Did you hear the news? It's seeing the patterns of how the media actually covers a subject. Waiting if you're watching news every day and then you wait 5 months and then the truth comes out, if you're somebody who follows it every single day, you go back and you go, okay, this is what the truth ended up being. You look back 5 months back and you go, they covered it like this. You start to see the pattern of how the media covers things, and you go, this in 4 months is going to come out as fake, or they're going to come out and say it's totally different. There's a bunch of ways that a lot of us here in this community have been able to predict these things, and it's not hard. It's a bad B movie, and it's like the person goes up the stairs, to the locked room instead of out the open front door to the running car away from the guy with the mask and the chainsaw. It's like every single time, they're going to run up the stairs to the 3rd floor for whatever reason. It's that way with this, and we are all seeing it happen in real time. This is World War III. This is it. People want to get caught up over, well, it's not happening right this instant, and it's not happening tomorrow. Oh, it's been 72 hours, and there's no attack, Marf. It's been years of calling this. This is not a wedding that takes months to plan. This is a world change. This is a regime change of the world. This is not a wedding that takes a year to plan. This is a world takeover. It's been taking decades. And now everything is falling into place. And it seems like every time they find out something, an adversary finds out about a power or some sort of strength we have, you can literally see, you can't see what strength they just found out about because it's probably top secret and they probably stole it or hacked into it. But what you can see is them responding to it and then publicly putting out the technology that responds to it. You can see all of this happening as we are watching through all of this. They're responding to each other. Us having the Golden Dome, us putting this into play and saying that we'll even have it up before Trump is out of office, that Golden Dome is an answer to a weaponized space. And a weaponized space is something we can't even fathom, because a weaponized space means that anything, anywhere, everywhere can happen. So when they're talking about nuclear sites and attacking Iran's nuclear sites, they have now treaties, and I just went over this last night, went over the actual treaties, the small print of them. Iran has treaties with almost all of our adversaries that absolutely contain that we will be backed up with military force by Russia, by North Korea, by them. So this is something that is most definitely going to escalate things if this happens. We still have our B-2 bombers in Diego Garcia ready to bomb the Middle East or China or wherever they want to bomb. And I think that this is all like a, they shuffle it off to the right hand so the left hand can do this freely. The U.S. all of a sudden, is doing all this stuff with Syria. Syria is a big part of this too. Syria was a stronghold of Iran. All of a sudden they lift all the sanctions after this guy who suspiciously gets these interviews with CNN, all this stuff. It's like we have a puppet inside of Syria now. Syria is a puppet. They're predicting that there's going to be a civil conflict, a full-scale civil conflict there within weeks. So even if none of this stuff happens, we're going to see what I think is the original government of Syria try to take back. They've now had some time. They've now paid people. Iran's helped with money. This country's helped with money. They have now paid militias, probably some of the same ones that took it over in the first place for 11 days. And those same militias are going to try to take the country back again from the puppet government. That is going to trigger its own set of difficulties. So you have Iran, you have Syria, you have, of course, you have Russia and Ukraine. You have all of these things, obviously, the whole time looking like there's going to be some sort of peace deal. And then, of course, it's not. That's exactly what it's one after another. It's just one thing after another. Now, before we move on, I want to make sure go check out Jace, because if you don't have antibiotics on hand, this is an awesome service that you can actually get antibiotics to your door discreetly. Again, this is all of your most commonly prescribed antibiotics in a kit that is going to be shipped right to your door. This is a quick appointment with a board-certified doctor, and since it is a board-certified doctor, you can actually go, hey, board-certified doctor, I would like to get an albuterol inhaler in there too. Not all things can be thrown in, but there's the add-on list, and again, you can go check that out. And I'm so sorry, my 4-year-old son is being an absolute beast today. That little dude is just chunking it up. He's probably wearing my shoes. Sorry about that, guys. But again, go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/Jace. You're helping support our small channel. You are helping yourself get prepared. And again, you have antibiotics for any kind of situation where you might be in the same situation as North Carolina. You might be in the same situation as Hawaii. You might be in the same situation as Cascadia when it happens. Again, it could be a natural disaster. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. But heck, if the end of the world does happen, again, you'll be set for that too. marfooglenews.com/Jace, and make sure to use the code MARF. All right, Dex, let's go over Iran says it will hold U.S. responsible for any Israeli attack on nuclear sites.
Yeah, the U.S. will be held responsible in the event of any anything that's coming out of Israel as it relates to the Iranian nuclear sites. This is coming from the Iran foreign minister. He's warned that as we're hearing, and we reported yesterday, that Israel is preparing, especially coming from U.S. intelligence, to actually strike them. So, and we even said this yesterday. We said we thought, no matter what, it's going to drag the U.S. in. The U.S. is part of this, whether we like it or not. So we're going to be held accountable. We're going to be held to blame, which means we'll be targeted. I think that the easiest way to think of that is any military we have, even contracting military that maybe in the Middle East would surely be targets, like in Iraq and locations like that are easier for Iran to hit than, say, Saudi Arabia, which will be a lot more difficult or cause a lot more trouble. But certainly any of, expanding beyond that, it could be as far as, attacking our ships and attacking, America, or even activating sleepers that may be sitting in our country. We don't know what that means. They're always full of threats. They've said it all the time. They've gone back and forth with Israel over tit for tats on these, and I think it was still in their court to respond, and they never responded. So that, is one of many things. But we got to take it for what it's worth. I'm pretty confident that Israel is going to do something, because they're going to do it whether we want them to or not at this point, and it doesn't look like negotiations are going to work.
Now, again, I want to reiterate something that a lot of you may have missed in the beginning of the year. As you said, like sleeper cells. So over on the Sean Ryan Show, a huge podcast, they had Sarah Adams. Now, everybody is going to detract from this, and for good reason. This is a former spook, and I believe former, not current, but who knows? If she gets a $1.50 from CIA, then she's current. But again, you've got a former spook on a show, which I believe everybody says he's a former spook or CIA. But she says that she believes that there is a planned event going to happen in the U.S. and Europe simultaneously in 2025, where over 1,000 people are going to simultaneously do this event that makes 2001 look like chicken feed. That lines up almost directly with why, the president during his first term took out Soleimani. If you don't remember when we took out with the missile Soleimani was one of their war heroes and generals. And again, when they took him out, they said it was because he was planning an attack on the U.S. that made 2001 look like chicken feed. What is the scary part about that is it's like his right-hand man didn't even get hit in that double strike. He passed, but he didn't. The Ayatollah above him had, this general had the full support of the Ayatollah. So the Ayatollah continued that plan. And again, it's crazy to think that if they did have this intelligence that says that they are literally plotting an attack on us, do you think that went to sleep when we started helping with all of this other stuff? I mean, I think there's a good reason why we have, bombers in Diego Garcia. This is a big deal. This is why we've told you guys to prepare for things like EMP, get an EMP shield, get yourself prepped up. Because even if no actual, explosives hit us, if they knock down our power either through a cyber attack or through an EMP, we're screwed. And 90% of us perish because we don't have water. So again, I hope some of the newbies here too, really, really make sure to watch your P's and Q's. And if the power goes out, within the first few hours, you need to know if it's citywide, countrywide, and you need to go check your car and your cell phone all at the same time, because it really feels like something is on the horizon. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, and then, by the way, thank you, BFM, says, let's get some joins tonight, family. Hey, thank you, BFM. I don't tell people to join or anything like that, but we super appreciate all of our members. And then Snow Leo, thank you. Again, some of our members are on their 24 badge, which is the 2-year badges. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Sweating the Ministries, getting my bug out ready, but trust Jesus above all else. Again, there's not much we can do. Like if a nuke hits, if a good example, when Hawaii had that false missile alert, many of you probably found my channel through that. Again, when that false missile alert, whatever that weird thing was, everybody had 45 minutes and essentially nowhere to go. It's not like they could run to the edge of the island and then swim out and get out of the way. Pretty much everybody on that island, if that was a real nuke, they were done. Just imagine that. What are you going to do in that instance? You're not. It's not like you can, go on and make a social media post that's going to solve anything. So at one point of being a prepper is you have to prepare for an eventuality that we all perish. And that's the thing. That's a personal thing between you and your maker. But I will say this, once you do accept that we have a limited time on earth, once you start saying thank you for every single morning that you wake up, thank you for the people around, even though my son is stomping on my head, I am smiling, thinking about him stomping in my big ass shoes. once you see that, then you're just more thankful about, the day that you have instead of worried about the day that you won't have in the future. So again, I feel that. Thank you, Sweating them. And then member for 24 months. Perfect timing. Look at that. See here, think. Woohoo. Snow Leo. Hey, thank you guys. All right. And then Iran saying that they're going to hold us responsible, Dex. I mean, it's funny because we said we would hold them responsible for anything Houthi did. And then I don't know what happened to that. And then they kind of like backed off the Houthis, maybe because they know what's happening with Iran. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was saying. They're going to hold us responsible. We know it's happening.
Yeah. So this is something to pay attention to. And I think, what is the time frame? By the way, what is the time zone? Can you check what it is in Iran right now? It seems like all of these Middle Eastern events happen at like late at night. It's like we'll be watching your favorite show at 11 p.m. and then all of a sudden you have shock and awe.
It's 5:21 a.m. in Tehran.
5:20. Yeah. So their day is just starting right now, while many of you are just winding down. Yeah. Snow Leo, thank you again. And then chilling moment. This is now we got to be careful with this one. This is already all over X. And by the way, I was in a space that essentially had a label I would never be able to say here, and I'm surprised it's even allowed on X. But they said the Z word against this word, and they basically said that this was a Fantastic Freddy, right? That this was put into place to get something popping off. I'm not saying that. To be honest, I was in the spaces for a very long time, and then covering all of the rest of the news. This story, I don't know what to call this yet, because everything I've seen so far, it just really just looks like the craziest timing. It's kind of like that event in Kashmir with India and Pakistan. It's just so perfectly lined up with, J.D. Vance going there and basically saying, hey, that Make It in India program looks pretty good right now, especially with these tariffs on China. And, handshake and a swirl. And then, J.D. Vance is literally there. A Kashmir event happens and Pakistan acts like they don't know anything, probably because they really didn't. I don't know. But again, with something like this, what is this going to be, how is this going to be used, or how could it be used to further, any kind of escalation? It's definitely going to put a huge, just negative force into the world. This kind of thing happening and being put out all over mass media, it's something that it's not like this is a water cooler subject. This is like a low down and just kind of evil thing, right? Dex, this whole thing, he basically says free and after taking this couple out. And
apparently he was pacing around, waiting, waiting, and they're coming out saying that the people that were there to actually meet for charitable, prosperous goods for the event over there, not in a negative way, right? It was kind of ironic that that's who we went after.
Yeah, so the whole thing, I'm going to wait a couple days to really chime in on this because, again, when things first come out like this, everybody jumps the gun. Everybody says, well, my source and your source, my source versus your source. When it comes down to it, all of the sources are corrupted. All of I was saying earlier, it's like, what's funny about right now? With subjects like this, right away, within a week of all of this going down and the internet taking sides, I showed you, everybody was basically jumping on the bandwagon of one side or the other. It seems to me like a lot of people, including my sister that was on Facebook, it was like she was pro this side and this person was on this platform and they were pro this side. It seemed to me like a lot of people that were uneducated about it or didn't know where it was on a map were basically taking a hardline stance on it, even going out and protesting and then getting questioned like, what are you doing here? And they're like, I have no clue. There were free drinks. I heard they had Sprite, but I got here and it was generic brand. And you realize that these people don't know anything about what they're chanting for, right? But at the same time, I've found that the more educated that somebody is, the worse. Because the more educated they are, the more through this system, this education system, and this completely biased and controlled system as well, all of the colleges and all of the professors and all this, nobody has any respect for them anymore. So either way, I think the way we should look at this, even if you're not educated, you don't know anything about it, go with your gut. I'm telling you, I think most of you have had your gut tell you the right answer 99.9% of the time. And you end up letting your brain get manipulated by all this media, and you don't just ask yourself. Ask inside. Ask your creator. Ask your higher power. Say, what is right and what is wrong in this situation? I almost guarantee you're going to hear that voice. No, not that voice. No. MK Ultra? Oh, no, I'm still on the show. Trying to get the propaganda out. Oh, you only exist in my brain. I said that out loud. I am so sorry. Was the mic? But you get my point. And Kim Jong-un left fuming after North Korea's destroyer damaged in failed launch. Dex, this
is nuts.
Doesn't look good.
It's absolutely nuts. It's almost comical, at least for a lot of us, but he's got egg on his face and he's pissed. So the brand new destroyer, they're launching it off of one of those ramps. If you've ever seen those giant ships, and they berth them and launch them into the water, sometimes they go, down long ways. This one's going down sideways. If you can just imagine, both the bow and the stern are going towards the water, to its port side or starboard side at the same time. And it's going down this ramp. And one of the carts that holds one end of the ship doesn't move, but the other side does. So now all of a sudden, the bow of the ship or the stern of the ship is going into the water and the other side's not. So now it's turning sideways, it splashes into the water, and then the ship completely turns over and is capsized sideways in the harbor right off the edge of the launch site. And it's a complete disgrace. And if you look at the satellite image, it's such a disgrace. They have a giant blue tarp now covering the entire destroyer, because they don't want anybody to be able to take pictures and see how bad it is. But yeah, Kim's not happy. I guarantee you some people are losing their lives over this one.
And did you see like all of the 40,000 WD-40 cans up right next to it and duct tape? They're gonna work all weekend to try to get that poster board back up. Telling you. But again, that's really, really funny. And then we have U.S. intelligence says Russia will use nuclear weapon if. Dex, do you want to go over this one as well? If.
Well, yeah. So there's the U.S. intelligence has come out with their interpretation of exactly what those reasons would be for Russia to use their weapons. And a lot of them are things that we've talked about before. Specifically like what some of the excuses are, but it said Russia is very unlikely to use nuclear weapons if in the conflict, unless Russian leadership judged it faced an existential threat to the regime. So they concluded that, and so it's that they think that's probably the most thing. The nuclear rhetoric throughout the war has been a tool to signal. They quote, it's a resolve to deter Russia's perceived Western involvement in the conflict, according to the DIA. But if they feel like they're faced with an existential threat, that's the most likely escalation. So in a major escalation, Putin revised Russia's nuclear doctrine last month that reduced that threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. Under the new doctrine, Russia can launch nuclear weapons in response to conventional attacks as well. So outlining that document, he said at the time, Russia would consider conventional attacks aided by a nuclear armed state as a joint attack. So in other words, if a conventional attack is significant against his country and the country that did it to him was armed by a nuclear state like us, then that would be considered an opportunity for them to retaliate with nuclear weapons.
I was trying. It didn't do it. I was trying to do. Somebody says they have a Harbor Freight tarp over it. Yeah, this is what Grok thought of a Harbor Freight tarp. Sweat Ministry says all this while Macron and Saudi look to be a two-state solution with IS and Palin. It will happen as it's been told by the Bible. Sweating again, thank you. Somebody said something here. Hi says James Munder was better. Well, I'm sure he was, and rest in peace, man. I miss James. James was a unique person. There was nobody like James, and it was very, very, very sad that he was pulled from us that early. Again, if you guys don't remember James Munder, he was a creator, and he perished in a car accident. A lot of people have a lot of questions about that still. He was, he said he was being followed and all sorts of things, and there were times I didn't believe it, and then by the end I was like, maybe this dude is telling the truth. Especially just the whole way it ended. It was very, very odd. Sad thing to bring up, but again, I'll give him that. I used to love watching him. I would watch him on my cell phone, and what was so funny is he would basically screencast his cell phone. So it's basically like you're looking at a cell phone article, and he would mess up and he would just cuss. He would just be like, he would not say it right, and then he would answer a text in the show. Like he'd be like, stop effing texting me. And literally just as it was live coming into his phone, he had no filter. Like you saw everything that was on his phone. If his mom, sent him pictures, it was on the screen. Some of the unintentional, hilarious moments from James Munder cracked me up so hardcore. And then Sweating Ministries, what is going on? He said, welcome to join the fam. Kathy Paina, I remember him, and Mike Morales. Mike Morales is still around. Same with BP Earthwatch. BP Earthwatch was almost 1 million subscribers, and then he got taken out because he chose a side to tell people to, go towards. Yeah, he's back up to 500,000, I think. He had to start over from scratch. And that's why back in those those couple years, it was really rough. We were doing keywords for everything. It was stupid. It was just stupid. And then before we move on, make sure to go check out EMP Shield, especially since you had our private contest through the Fugel fam that EMP Shield did for us, had that Liberty sale. The Liberty sale, I just found out yesterday or the day before that I was like, why did they forget? I didn't want to send people to this sale and not know if it was going to be good. I didn't want to advertise a sale that doesn't exist. The Liberty sale is going because after it ended with us in our contest, basically everybody loved it. People wrote letters. People said, hey, can you extend this? They extended it. And they were like, well, let's open this up to the public. Now it is open to the public. Everybody's doing this. But again, for the first 3 weeks, this was just for us. So it was very cool. They are an awesome company. If you guys don't remember, again, this is the company that's not only working with agencies like DHS, DOD, with the same technology helping protect the country, but they are also on the DEMSA team helping protect the Texas grid. And they are regular people in our community, the people that started this. When they were much smaller, before all the crazy contracts came in, they just, once the DHS said, hey, this is a great product to prevent EMP and solar events, all of a sudden it was like, boom, they were huge. But they used to send us videos walking around. Andrew would walk around, and everybody that was manufacturing, they still manufacture them by hand in Kansas, would walk around the factory, and they sent us Christmas videos. Who does that? They did. And they still would. They tried one a year ago or something, or 2 years ago, but they just don't have time for it anymore. Awesome company. You're supporting all American made product, and it could save your life. It will literally ground the signal of not only an EMP strike, but a Carrington level event in less than 500 trillionths of a second. Again, go to marfugelnews.com/EMP. Again, that's marfugelnews.com/EMP. Takes 10 minutes to put in your car. All right. And then Twitter down as users of Elon Musk's X app report major issues. Now, of course, with every time we talk about any outage, people are like, mine works just fine, or mine never went down. A lot of times people don't also realize that X has a cache. So if it makes it so it's an easier experience for you as a consumer, but a lot of stuff is downloaded. If you haven't noticed, even if you don't have internet, you'll go and it will show you 40 swipes of pages because it downloads it to your phone. It's crazy how much, memory some of these apps take, that they say that's why. But again, so people could have checked and it looked like it was on, but it was off. This wasn't a global one. Like Dex said earlier, if this was something where they were trying to hide something and get like a video off of it, because when these things happen, others have seen and saw videos that were basically removed off of platforms. And what they do when it's uncontrollable and it's just spreading like wildfire is they'll just shut the whole damn thing down, and they will basically find any instance of that video and take it off. I don't think that was the case in this one. Some people connected it earlier today to a event that happened, Russia's cyber attacking our supply chains. I don't have confirmation of all of that. But one thing I do know is I was in a Spaces, got booted out, and then couldn't get back in for 25 minutes or 22 minutes. And the host of the very large Spaces said, nobody could get into the space. And they were talking about that event today. Some said that there were rumors of a video that got released today on Twitter. I don't know if that's true either. Some mentioned like an alternate angle of the event that happened in DC that would prove, something was off. I don't know that either. I think that there's a lot of people that take advantage of these moments and they say things. Just like when I was talking about earlier, YouTube, all of a sudden one guy takes an old video of something hitting the moon, puts that out and says, this is what they were talking about. Something hit the moon. But when the original video, and if it's true, it's scary, he was talking about in years from now, back 2 or 3, 4 years ago, something was going to hit the moon. What is, I want some views guy do? He goes, oh, here's a clip of, 4-second clip of something hitting the moon for real. And they go, something hit the moon. Oh my gosh. And then everybody goes, oh my God, something hit the moon. But that wasn't the actual story. I almost think it was some sort of cover up. It made me even think that the original story was real, because why did everybody shift focus to the fake video of something hitting the moon? I don't know. Again, crazy stuff happens. Dex, as far as Twitter going down, hopefully this isn't a supply attack type thing, but a lot of people have it out for Elon.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I think he's got a lot of targets, or a lot of enemies out there that are targeting him. But I don't know if it's supply chain so much as communication, right? Like if Russia or anybody was going to target it, targeting Twitter would be something you do during wartime or right before it, to shut down communication so that people can't give away information about activities that you're doing.
Yeah,
I don't think it has anything to do with supply chain.
Yeah, no, I wonder what's going to happen in the next 24 hours, or if we're just not going to find anything out again about it. We will see. Again, we know Elon Musk and his companies, if the spaceship blows up into smithereens, it's a slight anomaly. If it's a cyber attack, it very well could be a data center problem, or they could say, we messed up an update. We've seen that plenty of times. Me and Dex have covered this a billion times, where companies like airlines and stuff get hacked by like crypto hackers and stuff, and they'll say to the front end, they'll say, "Oh yeah, we were updating and it was a glitch," but half the time it's because they're not trying to publicly say they paid a ransom or they did something. A lot of the times they do pay the ransom.
Well, and those telecoms and banks and certain industries are protected from CISA. They actually have a 2-year period or longer in which they don't have to reveal what happened. And they do that because they say it offers them protection from the type of attack it was. So they will come out and flat out say, we just had some other issue, and it might be a cyber attack, and then you'll hear about it 2 years later or 4 years later.
Yep, and you'll usually hear it through an NERC report or something like that, where they end up going over the real stats. Crazy stat out of that NERC report. There's two. There's NERC and NREC. God, I always forget the two. There's like NERF and NERC. But it was like over 700 cyber events happened to our grid. Only 2. Get this, 2. And one of them was at the time this was reported a couple years ago. 2 were reported to the public. 700 reported to the Department of Energy. 2 reported to the public. So keep that in mind when you get your prep together, especially around grid stuff and things like that. All right, Stephen McMahon, Adam, the shows are going to be starting earlier from now on. I'm doing absolutely everything in my human power to make sure that my family stuff doesn't overlay. Obviously, sometimes you'll hear my son, but I'm trying to get on earlier. Again, I have 4 kids. It's been a really, really hard thing to do. But again, we're on an uphill battle. It's, we're covering sensitive content, and, we lose half of our East Coast audience. And you guys are the ones who've kept with us through thick and thin, and have shown up every day. So I appreciate you, and I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that our show is earlier. Thank you guys. Love you. Scenic Adventure, Marf and Dex, thank you guys. You're not chopped liver yourselves. Thank you. And again, I love all you guys. You guys have really just made my life better. I mean, as far as the friends I've met through this, bar none, better friends than my real friends. I think I only have 2 real life friends that I respect more than some of the people online. But again, I think, and they're equal with the people that I've met online through this channel. So thank you guys. Thank you, Dex. Thank you for your service today. I appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
Speaking of which, very, very respected, awesome people down in the chat, including Chance Paladin. Again, go check him out. He's got books over on Amazon. Wages World, Trinity, Red or Blue Pill, Ilea, such an amazing, amazing woman. Beautiful, beautiful woman. I almost said huge woman. I was just Trumpisms. Beautiful, very smart, absolutely funny, just genius. Everybody over there is, though. So go check him out. Rip Curl, awesome guy. Everybody over there has been with us for years. Bones he's blowing up on TikTok. Go check him out. Love you guys. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. Clayton, you are our top supporter tonight. Thank you so much for your support. Again, thank you guys. It is a lovely, lovely group here. Clayton, you're getting a shoutro. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro.
Is it the same one you think you wonder? I said I wonder, the flag above you. Is it the same one you think you wonder? That's why we need a goal.